So, I find it interesting that this debate has become, I'm hearing about junk insurance and how, Republicans are evil, that they want junk insurance. I hear it on a regular basis that my people think that what they've got now is junk and it's all they can afford and it's costing them a fortune. So, Mr. Roy, what do you have to say about that?
I've found the conversation we've been having about so-called junk insurance interesting because nobody seems to be asking the question as to why people are voluntarily buying so-called junk insurance. They're buying it because the premiums are half or a third or a quarter of what the premiums are for
And if
Affordable
you
Care Act
can't
plans.
afford something else, you're going to buy something that you can't afford. Isn't that correct?
100%. So a plan that has all the bells and whistles but is unaffordable to you is effectively worthless, whereas a plan that may not have all the bells and whistles but at least provides you some coverage is. And the great tragedy of the Affordable Care Act is that we did not have to have that dichotomy. We could have had plans that had robust coverage for people with pre-existing conditions and protections for people regardless of health status, and yet we're still affordable. I've outlined it both in my written testimony, my oral testimony, and many, many other documents that I've presented to this committee in the past, how we could achieve that.
Now, you would agree with me, for those people who may have bought the junk insurance without knowing what they were getting into, that we probably ought to pass something that says that the things that aren't going to be covered, if you're only getting $20,000 worth of care and then you have to take the full bill after that, as Ms. Castor talked about, we should have that in bold language on the front of the policy. You would agree that we should put some consumer protection in that, make sure there's transparency so people are well advised of what they're getting or not getting. Isn't that true?
I have no problem with robust disclosure about what's in a short-term limited duration plan versus an ACA compliant plan. To a degree, we already have that. In a sense, if you're buying off the ACA plan, I think most consumers know that those plans have fewer protections, but more disclosure and more clarity in disclosure would be a good thing.